folks. Welcome to Calvin's Got Game. I'm Calvin.
I'm Lewis.
And today we are doing our top 10 cooperative games. Now, I haven't done my cooperative games videos for about 2 years. Lewis, have you never done one with me?
Nope.
The last time I did it, I think Josh and Kelly, or I did my own, and I think Josh and Kelly did another video with me. But anyway, it's been about 2 years since I did one, and some things have changed. I've played some different cooperative games, so I wanted to do it again. So here is our top 10 cooperative games. I'll go first, Lewis.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
before I do that, what should I tell the people?
To subscribe and put a thumbs up on the video if you like it.
And hit that bell for notifications.
And yes.
So when Lewis and I do put out new videos, you'll be the first to know about it. And you'll be the first to watch them. Right? Guys, I do appreciate you subscribing. I need 88 more. 88. That's not very many. So let's get to hitting that that subscribe button. I need you.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it. So let's get on with this list. My top 10 games. Now, Lewis is going to do 10. I'm going to do 10. We'll probably have some crossover. Not sure, but probably. All right, so my number 10 is a 2013 game called Eldritch Horror. It's by Fantasy Flight Games. It's 1 to 8 players, plays about 120 to 240 minutes. And in Eldritch Horror, you're trying to defeat the old ones. It is going around the world trying to defeat the old ones. You have gates opening, and you have crazy stuff happening. You have these adventures you can go on. If you go to that adventure, you're trying to complete the secrets of the old one to defeat him. Or, I guess they could be a her. But I enjoy this game quite a bit. I think it is a fabulous game. I love the H.P. Lovecraft mythos. And I've been watching The Librarians lately. It's an old TV show.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually had a Lovecraftian H.P. Lovecraft story not too long ago. And I was just enthralled. It was a great show. But I love Eldritch Horror. It's such a great game. Thank you, Fantasy Flight, for making this game. If you ever do anniversary edition of it, here, just take my money now. Just take it. So I really do enjoy it. And I like how each old one has its own cards so that it stays kind of thematic. Now, some of the encounters you go through in the city or desert or sea or wherever may not be as thematically connected to the old one, but you can kind of wiggle it in there somewhere if you're in a library and you're seeking out a book or something. It's just a fantastic game. I absolutely love it. Eldritch Horror, my number 10.
My number 10. It is a little kiddie game. That's what a lot of folks probably think.
Okay.
Castle Panic.
I don't know if it's kiddie, but
I don't think so.
I think it's a good entry level
game.
Cooperative game.
Yeah. It is a 2009 game. Fireside Games is the publisher. 1 to 6 players, about 30 to 60 minutes game time. It's ranked 1,314 on BGG. Pretty low, but it is a good cooperative game. It is, like Calvin said, a good intro in cooperative games. You're basically defending the castle, which is a tower. You have walls around the tower. You have your characters, archers, knights.
Is there a wizard?
But you have goblins and trolls coming after you. You have I think it's a troll or a goblin that is also a sorcerer. And you just have to knock them back and knock them out. Now, as they move forward, they come forward in quadrants. The board is divided in quadrants, and you just cannot hit. If you're in quadrant 1, you cannot hit quadrant 8. Turn around. You have to be in that area to hit the troll or the goblin. So, and you got to move. That uses up your turn too. Mm-hmm. So you have to be very careful how you work with everybody on setting things up, because as soon as they knock out a wall, which they do take damage, they start coming in on your tower. When the last part of the tower is gone, you lose the game. pretty simple game, straightforward, not much to set up. The only thing you have to worry about, and I have home road this, is not playing with the boulder.
I was just fixing. I hate the boulder. The boulder's stupid because you can't stop it.
You can't stop it. So it knocks out all the enemies. Let's say you have 7 enemies coming in one quadrant. It knocks them all out, but it keeps going into your wall, into your tower, into your guys, and keeps going on. So I don't like it. So whenever I play it, which I'm going to be owning it soon, but I would home roll that no boulder.
No boulder. I agree. No boulder.
So that was my number 10.
All right, it's a good number 10, Lewis. Great gateway game to start out with. My number 9 is a 2016 game called Arkham Horror, the card game, also by Fantasy Flight Games. 1 to 2 players, takes about 60 to 120 minutes to play. Once again, it's set in H.P. Lovecraft mythos. You're going and you have certain things that you have to accomplish. You're exploring rooms, trying to get clue tokens to be able to put on your side of the book. There's like a book in the middle of the table. It's not really a book, but the cards make it look like there's a book.
Yeah.
So you're trying to complete your story before the bad guys complete their story. Because if they complete their story, something bad's going to happen. There's still bad stuff going to happen whether they complete their story or not. So you're going to go through this scenario of whatever it is, and there's multiple scenarios that you can go through in this game. I don't have them all. I have a few, but I don't have them all. So, in getting them all is a little, it's called a living card game.
Yeah.
And it's a little hard to get everything, especially if you missed them when they first come out. If you don't grab them when they first come out, you can miss them. So, I fell behind in getting stuff, but I still love the game a whole lot. I've played the first scenario probably twice already, maybe 3 times. Absolutely like the game a lot. You have your own deck of cards. It's not a deck building per se. You get your own main deck of cards. And if you complete the mission, you can upgrade a few cards depending on some points that you got, knocking out monsters and location, getting certain locations open and done. So the game is a lot of fun. It's, like I said, Arkham Horror, the card game. I'd recommend it to just about anybody. It's great to play single player. It's great to play it with 2 players. And that's why it's my number 9.
Great choice there.
Absolutely.
Which I got that game too.
Yeah.
My number 9 is what I call a Scooby-Doo game. It's called The Initiative.
Uh-huh.
A 2021 game. Unexpected Games is the publisher. 1 to 4 players, about 30 to 60 minutes to play, and is ranked 1,233 on BGG. We're going up on there, on the rankings there. So, Initiative. You basically are kids finding a book at a garage sale, a mystery book. And when I say mystery, there's something about the book that is connecting to one of the characters. And you are trying to figure out the connection here. It's a quest-driven game. You play a quest, you finish it out, and you go to the next chapter of this book. You have different characters to pick from, and there's a little aspect of the game, what I call the Wheel of Fortune. If you don't know what it is, it's an old game show. Wheel of Fortune, you're trying to guess a clue, and it works like flipping over tiles on the Wheel of Fortune, and you're trying to figure out that clue. Now, Calvin and I have played it, and we got stuck on the third one. It got put on the shelf, and it's still collecting dust on the shelf.
We're gonna get it back to the table
eventually.
We are. It's just that it got to the point where we're like, we have no idea. Did we miss something? And the game is not that hard. It just maybe we weren't that smart at that point, or we just couldn't figure it out. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it is not that hard. It's actually unweighted, mind weighted. It is a 2.03 on there, so it's not that hard. But it is a great game that if you want to challenge yourself on thinking, on solving puzzles, and you have to cooperate with each other, this is a great game there. Great game to get some folks that they act, oh, I can solve any puzzle. Really? Let's try this one.
Yeah, it's something.
So that was my number 9, The Initiative.
Yeah, I like that game a lot, Lewis. We got to get it back to the table.
Yes.
Because that game is not smarter than I am, and it's not smarter than you are. We just got to figure it out.
Yes.
But I guess we were playing it also in a really kind of a time constraint because we were playing it at the game store. We don't own the game.
Right.
We played it at our local game store. So when we get there to play it, we're always in the time constraint of about a couple of hours, and you may or may not get enough clues to solve what the puzzle is, and Vanna's doing her little stuff, turning the letters. But
which is Christine. She's Vanna.
Yeah, Christine is Vanna at this point. She does that for us. But the game is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It is very Scooby-Doo-ish, though, because the book you found was a comic book.
Yes.
And you read the comic book, but as you read it, it tells you certain things that kind of clues, like Lewis was talking about. I like the game a lot, though. It's a great choice. My number 8 is a new game that I played, and it's a 2024 game. It's called Bomb Busters. It's by Cocktail Games. It's 2 to 5 players. Takes about 30 minutes to play. And in Bomb Busters, you absolutely have to work together. So you're these cute little rabbits, and you're cutting wires, trying not to get blown up. I guess you gnaw the wires in half. I don't know, but anyway, they're cute little rabbits. So everybody has this little tray in front of them where they have their wires standing up, and the numbers are facing you, right? So you have numbers ranging in from like 2 to 7. And so you arrange your numbers in order. So you go all 2s, 3s, whatever you have in order from lowest to highest. You get to give one clue with a little chip, and you can point to one of your wires what it is. So the next person is looking at his, and he's looking at yours and going, okay, so you have a 2 here. Maybe his next one's a 3. And he'll ask, is that wire a 3? And you say yes or no. If it is, you just pull it out and put it down on the table. He's successfully cut that wire because he has a match. You can't call a number you don't have a match to. Well, as the game progresses, you get yellow wires because it starts out with just blue wires. Then you'll get yellow wires and red wires. And so you can't cut the yellow wire in one of the scenarios. So if you cut the yellow wire, everybody explodes. So the game is tense. It's fun. I think it really works in a 5 to 6 player game, or actually a 5 player game. I think it actually works well. The time is not so long. And if you can't figure it out, if you're going, I don't know, and you have a number of what they're pointing to, just call that number, right? And you're safe on that round. But it kind of makes it more difficult as it goes around because now you don't have any more clues on what's where. So it's just a fun game. Bomb Busters, them little rabbits, they put them in a lab and make them defuse bombs, I guess. I don't know. But the rabbits are pretty smart. It is if you're smart. But we did pretty good at it. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And so Bomb Busters is my number 8.
Never heard of it.
You got to play it, Lewis. I'm telling you, I'm going to try to find it, and I'm going to try to get it. So, had some folks bring it, and it was fantastic.
Well, if you blow up, if the rabbits are not lucky then.
Yeah, if you're not lucky, you blow up. It's pretty rough. Their little teeth get knocked out.
Well, you have rabbit meat for later.
That's true. Make some rabbit stew, baby.
My number 8 is a game I know you have it. I don't, but I've played it a couple of times. And recently I played it one more time with a different group. It's called...
I wasn't invited. No, I'm just kidding.
It's called The Mind.
Oh, yeah.
The Mind. A 2018 game. Publisher Neuroburger. I know I'm messing this up.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Neuroburger. Spike. Karen.
NSV.
Yes.
NSV.
2 to 4 players. 20 minutes to play. It's ranked 1004 on BGG. It is how well do you know each other? How well do you know your family? How well do you know your friends, basically? You have cards that range from 1 to 100. Everybody gets I forgot how many, I think.
You get one card on the first turn, and then it goes up each turn.
Yes. And you got to put down in order.
In ascending order.
Ascending order. And on the table on how to complete that one trick. Mission. Yes. And if you do, you get little bonuses and so on. One card is not bad. 2 cards, it's possible. When you get 3, 4, 5, 7, I think the 7 is the highest one, it becomes a problem because you cannot speak anything. You cannot gesture anything. And it's, you put your card out. Let's say I have number 15, and I know it's very unlike if somebody has less than 15. I go, oh, put it down quickly without really thinking about it, and somebody goes and put down 1.
Well, that person should have been out there very first.
Very first. So
what were they thinking?
So we lose a rabbit.
Yeah, this is a little bunny looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like an electrocuted bunny on the cover.
Oh, not a bunny game.
Yeah, look at that.
So we lose a bunny, and guess what? We get going again. If you lose all 3 bunnies, you lose the game. Oh, it's pretty. Nope, it's not. Because if you get higher numbers, if somebody has 55, they look at it. Oh, I have 55, 54, and 52. Oh, I'm going to go boom. Wait a minute, boom. And then and somebody's trying to put 53, but you put 52. Lost again. Another bunny right there. Yeah. So it's a very cautious game, very thinking game. Even though it's weighted at 1.08, it does get you some mind work there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's really, how do you know each other?
True.
That.
True.
But that is my number 8, the mind.
There's no better feeling than you're sitting there looking at somebody else going, okay, I don't know. My car's not real high, but it's not real low. And I'm going, I don't know. So you're looking and you're just about to place it. And the other person places theirs down really fast. And you're like, oh, great. It was a 48. I had 49.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling than that when you win the game that way. It's just, it is a mind game, really. You're just sitting there looking at each other because you can't say nothing.
Nope.
And the person that's got a really high card, like a 90, they're just sitting there going, They're not going to play. So, okay, so either they have a really high card or they don't. But you just have to take that chance.
Yeah.
I like that game a lot, Lewis. Didn't make my top 10 list, though. Did not. I like it a lot, but it didn't make my top 10 list. My number 7 is a 2014 game called A Touch of Evil, Dark Gothic by Flying Frog Productions. 2 to 6 players. Takes about 60 minutes to play. Now, I know what you're saying, people out there in video land. You're saying, this is not a cooperative game. It is a competitive game. Untrue.
Yeah.
This game is competitive, or you can play it cooperative. And that's the way I play it. I play it cooperatively. Because my wife really loves this game. She likes to play it. And in this game, the cards, the people are like playing, they're like LARPing or whatever. They're dressed up in costumes.
Yes.
They take pictures of them, which is fine with me. I don't care. And the creatures and stuff are a little different. They put those in some kind of drawing or whatever. So in this game, it's a deck builder. You have a row like you do in every deck builder that you can buy cards from or kill monsters out of, which you acquire them to your hand and allow you to do other things. If you're playing it cooperatively, usually a lot of cards have things, the monster cards have things that you can do to the other players. But if you're playing cooperatively, there's a section on there that allows you to do something different. It must be something in the air. So anyway, so you're trying to defeat a level 1 monster, a huge monster, a level 2, and a level 3. But you can't get to those until you complete the first monster. Then you flip over to second. Once you defeat it, you flip over to third. And if you defeat it without getting 10 cards in the shadows, you win the game. But it's pretty hard because you have some cards that are walkers. And so what they'll do is they'll move each turn towards the deck or towards away from the deck. And once they fall out of the line, they go into the shadows. Or there's other things that make cards go into the shadows. So it is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. If you like deck building and you like a horror-themed game, not that it's real scary or anything like that, and it's not grotesque. Nothing is real grotesque in it. And if you like a deck building game, I think you might like A Touch of Evil Dark Gothic by Flying Frog Games. That's why it's my number 7.
My number, and I know which game you're talking about. I haven't played it yet, but yeah, it's a very tense game, I believe.
It can be, and you got 3 currencies in the game, which I like. It's not just one currency that you have 3. And so some of the monsters, the bigger monsters, require multiple currencies to defeat them, and I really like it.
We're number 7.
Yeah, number 7.
Number 7 for me is, I think you have played it too. It's called Forbidden Island.
Mm-hmm.
A 2010 game. Game rights publishers, 2 to 4 players, 30 minutes to play, and it's ranked 960 on BGG. Is a cooperative game that you cannot really leave people. You can leave folks behind, but it's not advisable.
Right.
Yeah. You are finding a artifact, and you got to get off the island with it. And pretty simple. You go from one square to another square to another square. Avoid this traps. Avoid rough terrain. Get the artifact. Go back. Get on the helicopter and leave. Not a problem. But it is. Because the tiles either disappear or change. So the route you took to get there might not be the same route you're going to take on the way back. It is a constant moving of tiles. Constant unpredictable of tiles. And it depends how hard you want to play it. It depends how many artifacts you're going to get. Now, is everybody going to make it off the island? Nope. Some folks just going to go, I got it. I'm going to leave it here because I'm about to die.
I can't believe you'd do that, Lewis. If it was a person, you wouldn't leave them behind.
No. But yes, it's a game that has replayability high.
Yeah.
Very high, because you don't know how the tile's going to come out. You don't know which tiles come out, because you don't. I forgot how many tiles is in the game, but you don't use them all.
Right.
At one time, so it is constantly changing. Well, the copter going to be changing. Where you're going to land, it's going to change. Where the artifact's going to be, it's going to change for every game. So I like the Forbidden Island, which there's 2 other versions: Forbidden Desert and Jungle. Yeah, Forbidden Jungle.
I think.
Yeah, as a jungle desert. Yeah, I think it's a jungle.
There may even be one more. I don't know.
Yeah. It's the unpredictability of the tiles and how it keeps changing so every time you play. So it's a great cooperative game that if you can bring it over to the table over and over again. I know somebody Evan I play with that they have combined 2 of the things together. So.
Oh, is that in the rule book, or they just decide to do that, make their own?
Just make it own.
All right.
So basically, they have 2 of the games. They have the Forbidden Desert and Forbidden Island, and they put 4 artifacts, and they can go between each of them, but have to be careful. There's only one. There's 2 copters, but so if you're in the desert and got to go back over here. If you start on the Forbidden Island, you got to leave from the Forbidden Island.
Okay.
If you start in the desert, you got to leave from the desert. Okay. So if you're going to go in the Forbidden Island, be careful.
Yeah.
If you lose that connection, you can't go back. Bye.
You ain't getting on.
Yep. So Forbidden Island is my number 7.
All right. My number 6. This is a cheat. It's my D&D games by Wizards of the Coast. 1 to 5 players, 60 minutes to play. I could pick Wrath of a Chardalon. I could pick Legends of Drizzt. I could pick Tomb of Annihilation. All of them have the same system, and they all work fantastically. I absolutely love the system and how the game plays it. They're dungeon crawlers. They're fun. They're just entertaining, and it doesn't take. I mean, it takes 60 minutes to get through one scenario. So there's multiple scenarios in the book that you can play through. In each one, in Wrath of Shadowland, Legend of Drizzt, Tomb of Annihilation. There's another one, Castles of Ravenloft, which I do not have, which I would like to get one day. But I think that was the very first one, and I don't have it. But the system that they use in that, the combat system, movement, all that is just so good that I can't say a whole lot about it more than I have. It's just a fantastic game. If you like dungeon crawlers, I think these might be for you because the tile pieces kind of fit together. They're not sliding all around where they're just put together. They have little puzzle things that they click together with, so you're not fighting with keeping everything together. And it has miniatures, which I like. So it's just a great game. Wizards of the Coast did a great job on those games, and that's why it's a 2011 game. Like I said, it's one of the older games. Not the oldest game I have on here, but one of the oldest games. And I just love them. D&D Wizards of the Coast is my number 6. And I'll put a picture of one of them up here. I don't know which one.
A great choice. I'm a big D&D fan. I have done a lot of sessions with D&D, but those games, I've been planning to buy one, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on that one.
I'd say play it first and make sure you really like it before you buy them because they're not cheap and a lot of them are out of print, so finding them might be a little more difficult.
Difficult, yes. I actually played. I don't know which one. I did play one, but I don't know which one I played.
Okay.
But yes.
Is it the adventure one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not near what these are.
Oh, no?
No.
Okay. So my number 6. Which
yes, number 6.
You actually own this.
I do.
Yes, you introduced it to me, and I want to get it now.
Oh, no. I'm sorry I make people spend money on board games.
It's a good one.
It is fantastic, whatever it is.
Number 6, Legends of Andor.
Of course.
A 2012 game, Cosmos Publishers, 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes for each quest. Ranked 625 on BGG.
Should be higher.
It should be. I agree. It should be much higher on this. It's basically you are completing quests, defending the castle, defeating probably a witch, defeating probably a orc. Mm-hmm. Probably have to get villagers to safety. You never know because the quest is, you don't know which quest you get because they have an easy and a hard. Me and Kevin has played the easy.
Yes.
And we did it. And yes, I will save the villagers.
Every time.
I will go back and save them.
Lewis, all we need to do is get back to the deal. Oh, I gotta save this last person. You may get us killed, Lewis.
It is the unpredictability of there's a little tokens that are flipped down and on the board.
Fog tokens.
Yes, fog tokens, thank you. And you don't know what's underneath there. It might be a potion of healing. It might be a little bag that gives you extra turn. It might give or more movement. It might be an orc. It might be gold. So you never know. And depending how you're going to play, depending how much is on there. Mm-hmm. You spend your movement by the hour on top. And how much hours you have, that's how much movement you can do. Your characters, you have 4 different characters. Elf, a wizard, a warrior, and a dwarf. Also with special abilities.
What do you call me?
Yes.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, you play them mostly.
Yeah.
You have dice. Each one have their own dice. You can have ability to manipulate the dice. But the creatures have 2 sets of dice. And you have to beat their power. It took me a moment to understand how the power worked
Yeah.
and how you get coins and more will to. But after I got it, how to do it, I realized which ones to go after.
Right. And they're easy. It's easy once you understand the track and how it works. You're just setting the monster you're fighting to their ability. Although it looks like there's a lot more down there, you're just setting that monster to the ability.
Yes, which took me a moment to get it, but when I got it, it was a little bit. It was much smoother. So it's a fun game, and the unpredictability of what the right side of the track is that has fogs that may kill so many, or at the end of the day it has to move up, and what's under that fog, for represents cars. You never know what might be coming out.
True.
And if the castle gets ever overrun by creatures, you're done. You can try again, but you're done for that session, right? For that quest.
You'll have to try it again.
Yes. So that's my number 6, Legends of Andor.
You know I like that pick,
Yes.
Lewis. All right. My number 5 is a 2018 game called Just One. This is a party game by Repost Productions. 3 to 7 players, 20 to 60 minutes to play. In this game, you are working cooperatively to answer so many clues, right? And I think you're supposed to answer 7 or something. It might depend on how many players. But everybody has their own little thing that they're writing a clue on. And the person that is guessing the clue doesn't know what the word is. So you have to write a clue to that word to help them be able to guess it. But you don't want to be too obvious, because if Lewis writes down the same clue I have, then we can't show that person the clue. So Just One is a great party game. I think it's a lot of fun, and it is cooperative, so I like it a lot. That's why it's my number 5.
My number 5. And I think, well, I'm going to get, might be wrong on the year. It's Descent, Legends of the Dark, Act 1 and 2.
Okay.
They're supposed to be Act 3. Don't know if it's going to come through or not. But Descent, Legends of the Dark, started 2021 and 2023, is Fantasy Flight Games. 1 to 4 players. About 120 to 180 minutes to play each quest. It's ranked 455 on BGG. It is a very interactive game, very unpredictable game. It's an app-driven game, and you don't have to buy the app. It's just download it free, and how you play the game, how you make choices in the game affects what happens at the end of the game. My game group that has started this, and we finished it. How we finished it, we actually got some good benefits at the very end of the game. I played it solo, and the way I played it, I got way more benefits at the end of the game. But it also has 4 levels of play. A beginner, a expert, and I want to see if I can live level.
Gotta love those.
Yes. It is a dice-driven game. It's a card-building game. It is a dungeon crawler game. It puts all this stuff together, and you say, that's a lot to put together. Does it really work? It does. The app actually helps you build it. And the app helps you put the structures together, and the components, very good components. The miniatures, nice quality. Now, none of them are painted, so if you want to paint them yourself, great. I don't see needing to it, but it's good quality here on Descent of Legends of the Dark. And let's say you fail on a quest. That's okay. You can keep going, or replay it. So it does have a lot of replayability. So I finished already, like I say, both. I'm about to go and play it again with a higher level on here. And for for beginners that into dungeon crawl, it is set for them too. It's a very good game for folks just starting in dungeon crawlers.
Okay.
So that is my number
5.
Thank you. Descent of the Legends of the Dark, Act 1 and 2.
All right, my number 4 is an oldie but a goodie. It's a 2008 game. It's called Pandemic by Z-Man Games. 2 to 4 players. Takes about 45 minutes to play. I've loved this game ever since it first came out. I think this game is fantastic. You're trying to cure these diseases off the map. You're trying to get rid of them, trying to find a cure for them, and hopefully you can eradicate them. Not always do you get to eradicate them, but it is fun when you do. The game can be set at different difficulty levels depending on how many epidemic cards you want to put into the deck. The game is easy. I call it kind of a gateway cooperative game as well because of the ease of play and how it's just an enjoyable game. Everybody can understand how to do the game. You get so many action points for the game to move, clear diseases from a location. You can use some of your cards that you have that allows you to do things. There's all kinds of things that you can do in this game that it just makes it a lot of fun. And I find it just enjoyable to play. And it's been since 2008. The game's still sticking around. I'm not sure what it's ranked on BGG, but I do know that Pandemic is a game that will always stay on my shelf, and I will probably always get it out to the table when new folks come over to play something. And we don't want to play something competitive. We want to play something cooperative. So Pandemic, and it was a great game for when my kids were younger because they love to fight when it's competitive. In this game, we all got to work together, and it was a lot of fun.
And I recently showed you a version of Pandemic that dealt with Rome.
Right. You did. I liked it too.
My number 4.
4
is...
Lewis can count to
Yeah, I can count to 4. Is Mysterium. A 2015 game. Publisher Limblood. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. 2 to 7 players. 42 minutes to play-ish. It's ranked 406 on BGG. Now, you're a deceased individual. A ghost.
I'm sorry.
And some folks heard about about you. And they were trying to find out how it happened. Who did it? So these folks are psychics. Or they think they are. And they're coming
Some are better than others.
Yes. So they come together trying to figure out how it happened, who did it to you, and solve the mystery. You are trying to tell them the information. You are behind a little podium, stand, correct? Screen, and trying to give them clues. But you cannot speak. You only pass information to them with cards with pictures.
That are horrible pictures.
Well, it depends.
Not horrible looking. They're great looking pictures, but the problem is you don't know what they're trying to get across to you for the clue.
Yes, it is a lot of them are very abstract art, very abstract. So if you're trying to convey something about red, and you draw cards that this player has to figure out red, and this player has to figure out another color of green, but you only have red, and one picture has a little bit of green, you put everybody red. Well, we know it's red, but how can you convey green on there? So it is a cooperative game with the folks that plays the psychics. And they can talk among themselves, but there is a time limit. The ghost gives them a time limit. And trying to convey that's the fun part. Yeah. Now, I've been told I never can beat the ghost again.
You stink at being the ghost, Liz. I ain't gonna lie.
I have an artistic mind. So
you have some kind of mind, but I don't know.
So my artistic mind actually did me wrong. But a couple folks did figure it out, but we didn't get it at the end what happened. So it is a great game. It's a fun game. You're going to get laughs. You're going to get laughs because when they figure out going, how do you get this to this?
Right.
But tell me this. So you will be laughing. You will be going, oh, you should have done this. So it's a fun party game. And that is my number 4, Mysterium.
And if somebody tells you should have done this, well, what you tell them is, okay, next time you're the ghost.
Yes.
Because I guarantee you have to work with the cards you have. And if you don't get great cards, you get so many little crows that you can discard the cards with. But if you still don't draw great clue cards, you're just stuck.
Yeah.
So you have to do the best you can. Even though the clues you may be thinking, okay, this little bird cage will tell them that this was the location or this was the weapon or whatever. Because you're trying to purvey an iron cage or something, and the thing was an anvil. Well, I ain't getting that, right? So it's a lot of fun. You will be laughing quite a bit. All right, my number 3 is a 2012 game. This is a crossover. Lewis. It is Legends of Andor by Cosmos. 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes to play. What I love about Legends of Andor, the very first scenario is a teaching scenario. It kind of walks you through the game so you understand how things play out. And so in the next scenario, you have a better understanding of what you're trying to do, how things work, and it works really well. I wish a lot of games would do that, especially adventure games like Legends of Andor. It worked really nice to bring that out. So shout out to the designers for doing that. They did a great job, and I don't know who the designers are right off the top of my head, but they did a great job with it. So Legends of Andor is my number 3.
My number 3, another crossover.
Another crossover, right?
Yes. It is Pandemic. 2008, Z-Man Games, 2 to 4 players, 45 minutes, and it's ranked 158 on BGG. There you go.
Thank you, Louis.
You're welcome. A great game. Like Calvin says, I like it. I also like the different versions they have coming out. They actually hold true to the Pandemic first game. Showed Calvin
Fall of
Rome. I have that one. I also have Star Wars, the Clone Wars. That's another nice one. And I like how they embrace the characters in that game with Anakin, with Obi-Wan, with who else was in that. So it has a great mechanic.
Yeah.
It's straightforward, not very complicated, and you can adjust on the difficulty of the game.
Yeah.
So I can't add much more, but number 3 for me was Pandemic.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say a whole lot on Legends of Andor when you said anything, because I knew I had it coming up, right? My number 2 game is a 2019 game. It's called Cthulhu, Death May Die. It's by Simon Games, 1 to 5 players, takes about 90 to 120 minutes to play. Cthulhu, Death May Die is yet another kind of H.P. Lovecraftian game. I've had quite a few on here. As you can tell, I love that mythos. You're trying to kill the old one, which is probably Cthulhu, and more than likely it's Cthulhu. And you're trying to stop the cultists for doing their ritual, exactly. And so you're going through there. Fires may break out. You're trying to put out fires. You're trying to fight cultists. You're trying to fight these other creatures that come out. And then when the big Cthulhu comes out, he's so big, he takes up the whole tile. It's hard to put everybody on that tile. And it just gets overwhelming with everything that keeps coming. But it's so much fun. It is so much fun. It's almost like playing Zombies, where the zombies just keep coming. Well, these cultists just keep coming back, trying to complete their ritual. And fires break out. And you're trying to fight the fires because you can't... If you're in a room with fire, you're going to take damage. And you don't want to die. And you're trying to do all these things. Cthulhu Death May Die is a fantastic game. I absolutely love it. That's why it's my number 2.
My number 2. which we actually did a video, and Kevin will be putting it up later on. It's called Dead of Winter, a crossover game. A 2014 year, Plaid Hats Games publisher. 2 to 5 players, 60 to 120 minutes game time, ranked 233 on BGG. And this one is weighted a little bit more with a 3.01. Here, a little bit more difficult on here. Great game. Great cooperative game. It is, the replayability is decent. A little bit high, which I like. Easy to set up. Easy to get going. Components are solid. The scenarios coming up of how you got to meet the daily objective, your objective, and then the question mark, is there a traitor among you? It's a game that has twists and turns. You don't know how it's going to end because the die, you are at the mercy of the die.
True.
And any game that you are at the mercy of the die, gonna be, and you have to put out stuff of zombies, monsters. It makes it more interesting.
It does.
So Dead of Winter Crossroads Games is my number 2 for this list.
Excellent game. It didn't make my top 10 cooperative games because it does have to play sometimes with a trader. Not always. Sometimes it is all cooperative. But like I say, I make a house rule where it's always cooperative. Unless other folks at the table, because I do play with some folks that don't like to do the trader aspect. They don't like to be the trader. So we don't play that way. But anyway, great game, Lewis. My number 1 is a 2024 game. I've had a couple new ones on this list.
Yes, you have.
It's called The Gang by Cosmos. It's a 3 to 6 player game. Takes about 20 minutes to play. This is a Texas Hold'em style cooperative card game. I know you're saying, how can Texas Hold'em be cooperative? Well, guess what? I was the same way. I had the same question. But after I played it, I understood how it went. So you'll get your first 2 pocket cards. You'll look at them. You have these poker chips in the middle of the table, which could be, they range from 1 to however many people are playing. So if you think you have the highest pocket cards at the moment, if you think your hand is better than anybody else's, you'll take the 4. Well, Lewis may say, well, I think I got the highest cards. So he takes the 4 from me. Well, then I say, okay, I'll take the 3 if you think you have the higher cards. So then when the flop comes out, there'll be a whole new set of poker chips. Once again, you'll decide from the flop and your pocket cards what kind of hand you're going to have, or that you have. Not you're going to have, but what you have. And so now this time I take the 4, and Lewis goes, yeah, he probably does have better than me. It didn't quite, I didn't really catch anything in the flop that's going to, I didn't pair up. I didn't, whatever. So he takes the 3 or the 2 even. So now I'm looking at Lewis's chips, and I say, okay, he thought he had a 4. He must not have gotten anything in the flop. He must not have paired up to his ace or maybe a king that he had.
Right.
Or something. So maybe I do have with a pair of 8s. I may have him. So it's just a cooperative Texas Hold'em game that is so much fun, guys. And you're trying, the theme is lightly based on you're robbing a bank is what you're supposed to be doing, robbing safes. And if you get through one round, you'll do this for the river, the river and the turn in the river. Mm-hmm. So you get the flop, turn in the river, and your first 2 pocket cards. So you'll do this 4 times picking poker chips on how you rank your hand. But at the end, the person that picked the first, that thinks they have the lowest hand, turns over theirs first. Then the next person that thinks that picked the number 2 turns over their hand. So if they beat Lewis's hand, we're in good shape. So we have to go around. So whoever picked the final chip has to beat everybody else. And if you do, you get to open the safe. If you don't, you fail, and you can only fail 3 times. And if you open all 3 safes, you're the winner. I absolutely love this game. I'm going to grab it one day. I haven't been able to get it in my collection yet, but I am going to do it. And it's called The Gang by Cosmos, my number 1.
My number 1, our last one, is called, another crossover, Arkham Horror, the card game.
Oh, great game.
Calvin introduced this game to me again. Another one.
And I've made him spend a lot of money.
Of course, 2016 game, Fantasy Flight games, 1 to 2 players, 60 to 120 minutes game time. It is ranked 28 on BGG, and it deserves to be 28.
Yeah, it's great.
It is a great game. You have touched up on a lot of it on there. I do wish I got into it earlier.
Me too.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get some more of these Arkham Horror games because
you love that mythos too, don't you?
Yes, I do, and I want to get
Welcome
into
to my world, Lewis.
I like that, and I have only played the Arkham Horror card game. I have not played the other ones.
Eldritch Horror, Cthulhu, Death May Die. We're gonna have to remedy that someday.
Yes, and there's one that I wish we both can play. Is and I can't. It's called Unfathomable.
Unfathomable.
Yes, and it's basically the same thing. You got creatures coming in and trying to defend a ship. So, but Arkham Horror, great game. I like the cards. I like how you level up, how you have to make that choice, which cards to keep, which cards to level up. And even if you fail, you're still going to level up.
Yeah, you're still going to move on to the next scenario, even if you fail. You'll just have to take some kind of damage on your next turn, either mental or physical, on your next scenario. But yeah.
So it's a great game. And I think Arkham Horror right now is one of my top ones for co-op, of which most of my wife will get into this one because I think she would like it.
Oh, I know she would.
I play mostly myself, but I still, even for a solo game, it's a great game.
Yeah. But I do have to say, Fantasy Flight, I'm angry with you because I did buy the first printing of Arkham Horror, the card game. And you guys, and you could only build 2 decks with that thing, right? And then you come out with the second edition where you can build all 4 decks. So I think, Fantasy Flight, you need to send me... I'm just kidding. But hey, I love the game a lot. Fantasy Flight, thank you for making Arkham Horror, the card game. It's fantastic. Absolutely. Or producing it or publishing it. I absolutely love it. It's a great game, great system, and just a lot of fun to play.
It is.
So that's our top 10 cooperative games. Which ones did you like on our list? Which ones do you think we left out? Put it down in the comments. We'd love to hear about it, and I guarantee you we'll let people know what you think. Guys, I wish you'd subscribe. We still have about 70 or 80% of the people that watch these videos not subscribed. Yes. How can you do that to yourself? These videos are fantastic. Right, Lewis?
Yes.
I mean, you get to see our mugs on the video. Come on. No, we really would like for you to subscribe. Like for you to hit that thumbs up when you see these videos. Hit that bell for notifications. Hey, tell other people about the channel. It's not a horrible channel. Yeah, we review some older games and we talk about some things that are probably not of the new because there's so many games out there I haven't played yet.
Yeah, and there's some older games that needs to be recognized.
Exactly, because a lot of people forget about those older games. They go to that new. Oh, I gotta have the new stuff.
Yes.
Well, try not to always go after the new. Look for some of them older games. There's a lot of great older games out there. All right, Lewis, you got anything else to add?
No, other than you already said it. Subscribe, thumbs up, tell folks about this channel, and make us grow. Make us grow.
Yes. We need your help. Hey, guys, as I always say at the end of every video, get a board game to the table, spend time with your friends and your family, and I thank you for watching Calvin's Got Game.